Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're here. My name is Hernandez. As Fatih just mentioned, I'm a senior principal product manager at Red Hat. And Scott, you'd like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Scott Rigby. I am fun employed right now.
Nice.
And yeah, so anyway, I'm independent, and I'm very involved with the OpenGitOps project, and as Fatih just mentioned, several other co-maintain several other CMCF projects, and I'm involved in a few other working groups.
Awesome, awesome. So we're here to talk about the state of GitOps, OpenGitOps, GitOps working group. And first, we kind of want to go off of who we are and what we do, right? We think we've spread the good words of GitOps a little bit for a while now, but since this is our first time with CDCon and GitOpsCon, we have more folks from outside the GitOps world. So I figured we can just quickly talk about who we are and what we do.
Yeah, that's right. And I probably should have mentioned I was formerly at Weaveworks, and that's where the GitOps term initially originated from Alexis Richardson, the CEO of Weaveworks. But and that was quite a while ago, and since then there's really community around this to the point where there's shared terminology now. There's shared we're all kind of all on board for this across the industry. So just to give you a sense of what the differences are between, or the similarities and the relationships between the working group and the open project, is that, so CNCF working groups, I won't make any assumptions about the knowledge of, the knowledge of this audience with CNCF and all of its inner workings, but basically working groups by and large are under technical advisory groups, very similar to the Kubernetes special interest groups. And that's where the GitOps working group is, under the app delivery tag. So our focus is basically app delivery is about how things are delivered, and it pairs very well with the connection with the CD Foundation. And the GitOps working group, our main focus is about really just the principles around your desired state for your operations. And so all of our principles relate to that, and you'll kind of see how they tie together in later slides. The working groups are meant to be short-lived until their goals are achieved. We're still on the fence about how much longer we need a working group, because the OpenGitOps project has really been a place that holds the long-lasting documents like the principles and the glossary, and it's a place where I guess information about the certification that Fatih mentioned earlier will be and conformance and really anything around the public-facing side of GitOps. So at this point, it's you can be involved with the working group, and ultimately what that means is you're really helping to participate in and contribute to and run the OpenGitOps project. So there's not a lot of difference right now. But yeah, we're gonna, I guess you'll go over how.
Yeah. So
we'll just introduce how the GitOps principles really match.
How they relate to each other, yeah. So I think I'm going to go over the next slide. Shout out to William Caban, who isn't here, but he was involved with drafting these principles and actually mapping them to common practices. And so the GitOps principles was vendor neutral from industry wide. We had a lot of folks. We'll go over that who contributed later.
But can I still define each one, and then you can sort of talk about how they're mapped?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first principle is declarative, right? A system that is managed by GitOps must have its desired state expressed declaratively. But this is true for things like configuration as code, infrastructure as code, DevSecOps, and also GitOps. And so, this is kind of things that aren't necessarily new, but we are actually putting kind of like a definition around what it means with respects to GitOps. For principle 2 is version and immutable, meaning desired state is stored in a way that is, it enforces immutability, versioning, and retains a complete version history, right? Again, this is the same for infrastructure as code and DevOps and all those sorts of things, but also GitOps, right? You're also, GitOps also uses this principle as well, and it's pulled automatically. And I like to define pulled. So software agents automatically pull the desired state. So pulling the desired state versus webhooks and stuff like that.
And just to interject real quick, the one thing that's not really on this website that is in the versioned GitOps principles is that each of these 4 principles relate specifically to the desired state of your operations.
Yes.
And we probably should just very quickly
Yes.
mention what that is. That's basically the declarative side of operations. So like platform, applications, but also anything that's required for your system to work, including policies and security policies and policies about who's supposed to access, what, networking, pretty much anything for, ideally everything from soup to nuts, But so like what's pulled, we're talking about the
declarations, their
right.
desired state is pulled.
Your end state as opposed to the imperative steps to get there.
Correct. So, and that is, kind of like the DevOps, DevSecOps, GitOps. But number 4, which is my favorite, that gets you fully into GitOps, is software agents continuously observe actual system state and intend to apply that desired state to the system, right? And so all of these we hope to build on each other, and really only when you're doing all 4, I make the joke kind of like Captain Planet. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but like when your powers combine, right, you're actually doing all GitOps. And so each principle takes you closer and closer to GitOps, and only when you're doing all 3, you're actually doing GitOps. And so moving quickly here, so we have a few announcements. Also, things are happening. So ArgoCon happened, right? So folks from the Argo community also take part of OpenGitOps, and Argo EU happened. 3rd ArgoCon to take place, 2nd time in person.
Oh.
So it was co-located with KubeCon EU to make it a little easier. And so that was a lot of fun that happened there. That's not the only thing GitOps related that happened in Amsterdam. So Scott, talk about a little bit about the community meeting we had.
Oh yeah, this is good to know about, even though it's like, well, why are you mentioning this here? But it's good to know about because this is an ongoing set of discussions that any of you who are interested in the topics around GitOps, please participate in. We use GitHub discussions as the place to sync our live meetings and our, all the async the async work that's happening by people in various time zones. So we're really trying to promote the usage there and make sure that, yes, we have other channels of communication, Slack and mailing lists and in-person meetings, but that's where we really try to synthesize everything so that no one's left out, And so the community meeting that was at KubeCon, we really took that that list of topics and held kind of an open, or let's say a kind of an unconference style birds of a feather conversation, or had birds of a feather conversations, and they were really great. So it would be great to have some of that with you all in a less formal way, I think, over the next 2 days, in the hallway or in between chats, in between conferences.
Yep, and something else, and Fatih already mentioned it, but we're also helping co-author the Certified GitOps Associate certification. We're not only doing the conference with the CD Foundation here, we're also helping shape the certification, vendor-neutral certification that the Linux Foundation is going to be putting on about GitOps. So course outline is set. We're currently writing, discussing, doing all that fun stuff. So take a look at that when that comes out. We're really, really excited about that. So sweet. Let's talk about what's next. Right.
Yeah. So as Christian was saying, basically, the conformance and certification, to be super clear about this, conformance is primarily for projects and platforms, products and things like that. Certifications are for people. So like that kind of gets mixed up sometimes in a lot of the conversations, so I thought I'd throw that out there. And for the certification, we're really talking about the human side of this. Like you take classes or you attend conferences and then you want to get your certification. So that's what's coming, not so much the conformance side, but that is on the horizon as well.
And kind of on the foot of that is the fact checking. The GitOps police is here. No, I'm just kidding. But we really want to help the larger community, in the industry, about the use of GitOps, right? I always say we don't want GitOps to turn into like cloud, right? So like cloud came out and it was just like everywhere, and like who knows what cloud means now. But we don't want the same thing to happen to GitOps, right? Which is part of the reason why the working group exists. A lot of articles and blogs were written even before the working group was even existed. So it would, we try to, I guess, educate and kind of like make GitOps accessible to everyone. So that way it's like, hey, let's join the community. Let's get these practices out there, and so that way, us as a tech industry can be speaking the same language. So
yeah, and so like on that note, please reach out to us, not just Christian and I, but all the people involved in the working group and the OpenGitOps project. Like that's really part of our job, is to help collaborate with people and say, oh yeah, now that there are these industry standard and versioned terms that's agreed upon across many different companies and industries and so on, if you want some, I don't know, even eyes on your writings about things, or even just have any questions, or even have ideas about what should change within GitOps, yeah, please let us know.
Awesome. And then again, PRs are welcome. That's kind of what the last bullet is. So since we're running out of time, I'll march on here. So get involved. The more the merrier, Scott. Talking about project structure and how to get involved here.
I'll be quick about this one. So the entry point for, there's an opengitops.dev website, but for folks who are looking for to get into, get in through Git, it's all at GitHub, like most of the CNCF projects, are like housed there, at least says this, the main source of truth. And the organization is open-GitOps. So just remember that for now. Someone name squatted OpenGitOps one word, and it's just been sitting there for years. We don't know who it is.
Yeah. You know who it is, let us know. Yeah.
We could redirect it, but in any case, there's nothing there. But so you'll find it, and the main entry point, like repo, is the project repo. So like third down on that list, it just gives you information about like, what is this project? How do you get involved? Who's running it? Like, what's the governance like? What are the licenses? That kind of thing. The documents repo is really the main contribution that's out there right now. That's where the principles are being worked on. That's where the versioned, like V1 of the principles are. Any issues and discussions around updating those or tweaking them in some way, that's where that happens. Also, that's where the code base for the GitOps glossary is, which the principles link out to, and vice versa. So yeah, like definitely check that out. And then, if people want to actually like say, hey, I want to start contributing, and maybe you're really good at front-end work or whatever, check out the website repo, because we could actually use some help there. It's looking pretty good, but it's always good to get more eyes. And then just the normal like GitHub health or default community files, like how to contribute and things like that.
Cool. Yep. Cool. And just kind of let you know we're growing, right? And we're growing to the point where we have subgroups now. And also, I just want to say congratulations to our new maintainer, Nikki. Nikki's here. Yes.
Woo-woo.
Yay, Nikki. There you go. Thank you. Manoledaki. Did I say it right? Mostly. Okay, thank you. So congratulations, you maintainer. She started the environmental sustainability for GitOps subgroup. So awesome work there that she's doing here. So there's some teams here, right, in the last few seconds that we got here. Again, the environmental sustainability team, which is active, marketing, media / events, right? Kind of. This is kind of where I kind of hang out, do most of the stuff here.
This is how we do what we do. So if you want to get involved, like, what kind of team would I like to be on? Check these out. There's a document in the main project repo about this.
Yep. And then there's some proposed teams, right, like security, media fact checking, that sort of stuff. And the inactive team, right, our first team was a principles committee, which basically was a committee that came up with the GitOps principles that we discussed earlier. And then just kind of want to give a shout out to all the authors, right, that did that contributed to the GitOps principles. And then, get involved with the discussions. And best place to get involved, if you have your phone out, scan the QR code. You can find us in opengitops.dev. And you can join a meeting. And we thank you and enjoy the conference.
Thanks so much.